Hello, everyone. Welcome to Say It.
Hey everyone, so happy you are here with us today. I am Mike.
And I am Sarah. So happy you are with us.
Sarah, I have to say, I was thinking about today's topic this morning and I kept finding it everywhere.
Kept finding it everywhere. What do you mean?
I was making breakfast and I thought, did I do the dishes last night? And then I looked at my phone and saw a message from a friend, can you do me a favor? And then my flatmate walked in and said, have you done the laundry?
Oh, 3 times before breakfast?
3 times before I had even had coffee, and each time completely different.
And that is exactly where today begins. Mike, I am going to say 3 sentences. Just listen.
Okay.
She does yoga every morning.
Right.
She doesn't do yoga every day, though, does she?
Wait,
She did do yoga yesterday, didn't she?
hold on. How many times did you just use that word?
Which word?
Do, does, did, some form of it in every single sentence, multiple times in some of them.
Count them. She does yoga. She doesn't do yoga, does she? She did do yoga, didn't she? That is 6?
6 in 3 sentences, and every single one doing something completely different.
That is actually kind of mind-bending.
And that is today. Do, does, did, done. 4 forms of one verb, and most learners are only using a fraction of what this verb can do.
I had no idea it was this deep.
Most people don't, and by the end of today, that changes completely.
But first, please like and subscribe to Say It. Every new like and subscriber motivates us to prepare more episodes for you.
Now, let us get into it. 6 times in 3 sentences.
And that is not unusual. That is just Tuesday.
So how does one word do all of that?
Because do has 2 completely different identities, and most learners only know one of them.
Which one do they know?
The action. I do the dishes. She does yoga. He did a great job. Do, performing an action, carrying out a task. That is the first identity.
The main verb.
Exactly. But the second identity, that is where it gets interesting.
What is the second one?
The engine. Do, powering other verbs, making questions, building negatives, adding emphasis, forming question tags, stepping in when you want to avoid repeating yourself.
So do is not just doing things, it is making the whole sentence run.
That is exactly it. Think of it like an engine. When do is the main verb, the engine is doing the work, carrying the load. She does yoga. He did the report. The engine is working.
And when do is the auxiliary,
The engine is powering the sentence. Does she do yoga? The first does, powering the question. The second do, doing the work. Same engine, 2 completely different jobs.
and it has 4 forms?
5, actually. Do, does, did, done, doing. Each one carrying both roles, main verb and auxiliary, except done.
Done is different?
Done belongs to perfect tenses and a very specific structure we will come to later. It plays by slightly different rules.
So the engine has 5 settings.
5 settings, and 1 rule that holds everything together, no matter which form, no matter which role.
Which rule?
When do acts as an auxiliary, the main verb always stays in its base form. Always. Do you like, not do you likes. Did she call, not did she called. Does he work, not does he works.
Always base form after the auxiliary.
Every single time, no exceptions. That is the golden rule of this whole episode. And once you have it, everything else falls into place.
2 identities, 5 forms, 1 golden rule.
That is the whole system. Now let's build it, piece by piece.
So the first identity, do as the main verb.
The engine doing the work, and this is the one every learner knows, at least partly.
Partly?
Most learners know do the dishes, do homework, do exercise, the everyday tasks, but the full picture is bigger than that.
Let us start with the everyday ones then.
Think about your day, everything you have to get through, the tasks on your list.
Do the dishes, do the laundry, do the shopping,
Do the cleaning, do the ironing, do your homework, do your hair.
do your best, do a good job, do exercise.
All of them, the engine doing the work, performing a task, carrying out an activity. Nothing new is created at the end. The dishes get clean, the laundry gets done. The task is simply completed.
And at work?
Same pattern. Do research, do a report, do an interview, do business, do overtime, do the paperwork.
And there is one pattern that almost always signals do.
The indefinite pronouns, something, anything, nothing, everything. Whenever these words appear, do follows almost every time.
I need to do something about this.
Is there anything we can do?
She did nothing to help.
He wants to do everything himself. Every single time, do. Not make, not take, do.
Which brings us to something important.
Do versus make, the most common collocation error at every level.
What is the difference?
Do is for the task and the process. Nothing new comes into existence. Make is for the result. Something new is created.
Show me.
I did a mistake.
That sounds right, actually.
It sounds right, but a mistake is created. It now exists. That is a result. So I made a mistake. Always make, never do.
And the other way around?
I made my homework.
Also very common.
Very. But homework is a task, a process. Nothing new appears at the end. So I did my homework. Always do, never make.
Do the task, make the result.
Every time. A few more pairs to know. Do damage, not make damage. Make progress, not do progress. Do business, not make business. Make an effort, not do an effort.
And if you want the full picture, do versus make versus take,
We have a full episode on exactly that. Episode 3. The link is shown above. Everything, the framework, the collocations, the tricky pairs, all of it is there.
but for now, do the task, make the result.
And the engine? Just doing the work.
So that is do, doing the work. Now the second identity.
The engine powering the sentence. And this is where most learners are only using a fraction of what do can do.
Starting with questions.
The most basic function, and the one everyone uses every day, often without realizing do is even there.
Do you like coffee?
Do, powering the question. Like, base form. The engine asks. The main verb stays in its simplest form.
Does she work here?
Does, third person. Work, base form. Never works, never worked. Base form always.
Did they arrive on time?
Did, past. Arrive, base form. Not arrived, not arriving. The golden rule holds. Always base form after the auxiliary.
Which brings us back to those two sentences from the beginning.
My friend wrote, "The interviewer did ask me some really difficult questions, but I didn't know what to say."
Did asked. Didn't knew.
Now we know exactly what is wrong. Did powers the sentence, so the main verb must return to its base form. Ask, not asked. Know, not knew.
The correct version.
The interviewer did ask me some really difficult questions, but I didn't know what to say.
Did ask. Didn't know. Base form every single time.
Every single time, no exceptions, ever. That is the golden rule, and it applies to every question, every negative, every emphatic sentence, without exception.
Now, something that surprises most learners.
Indirect questions, reported questions, because in direct questions, do is the auxiliary, but the moment the question becomes indirect, do disappears entirely.
Disappears.
Completely. Watch what happens. Direct question. Do you like coffee? Indirect. She asked if I liked coffee.
Do is gone.
Gone. And the word order changes. In a direct question, do comes first, then the subject. Do you, does she, did they? In an indirect question, the subject comes first again. Normal statement order. And do is nowhere.
Another one.
What do you want? Direct question. Do first, then subject. Indirect, he asked what I wanted. No do, subject before verb. Normal order.
And in the past?
Did they arrive? Direct, did first. Indirect, she wondered if they had arrived. Did is gone. The tense shifts back one step.
Where does she work? Direct, does first.
Indirect, he asked where she worked. Does disappears, subject before verb, tense shifts back.
So the rule is, in indirect questions, do goes, word order flips back to normal, and the tense steps back.
Exactly. 3 things happen at once, and once you know that, reported questions become much simpler.
Do appears in the direct question and vanishes in the indirect one.
Every single time.
So do disappears in indirect questions, but there is one place it always shows up, even when nobody expects it.
Question tags. And this is one of those things that native speakers use constantly without ever thinking about it.
What is a question tag exactly?
A short question added to the end of a statement. It turns the statement into a check. Are you with me? Do you agree? Is that right?
Like, you like pizza, don't you?
Exactly. The statement, you like pizza. The tag, don't you? The whole sentence is checking, am I right about this?
And when do we use do, does, did in the tag?
Whenever the main verb in the statement is a present simple or past simple action verb, not to be, not a modal, the tag uses do, does, did.
So, she likes coffee, doesn't she?
Present simple action verb, likes. Tag uses does, doesn't she?
They called yesterday, didn't they?
Past simple action verb, called. Tag uses did, didn't they?
And the flip rule.
The most important thing to remember about question tags: positive statement, negative tag. Negative statement, positive tag. Always, no exceptions.
Positive to negative.
She likes pizza, doesn't she? They live here, don't they? He works in London, doesn't he? All positive statements, all negative tags.
And negative to positive.
You don't like coffee, do you? She doesn't enjoy swimming, does she? They didn't come, did they? Negative statement, the tag flips to positive.
Always the opposite.
Always. Positive flips to negative, negative flips to positive. Every single time.
And the most common error here?
Using isn't or wasn't with action verbs. She likes it, isn't she? Wrong. She likes it, doesn't she? Correct. They called, wasn't it? Wrong. They called, didn't they? Correct. If there is no auxiliary in the statement, do, does for present, did for past. Always.
Now, does the intonation matter?
It changes the meaning completely. Falling intonation, the speaker is sure, expecting agreement. You like pizza, don't you? D-tone, I'm pretty confident you do.
And rising.
Rising intonation, the speaker is genuinely asking, not certain at all. You like pizza, don't you? Rising, I'm actually not sure. Am I right?
Same words, different music, different meaning.
Always. And one more thing, in casual American English, right works as a universal tag.
You like pizza, right?
Natural, informal, increasingly common everywhere. But doesn't she and didn't they, those are standard in every variety of English.
Positive flips to negative, negative flips to positive. Do, does for present, did for past.
And the intonation, falling for certainty, rising for genuine question, tells the listener everything about what you mean.
So, do makes questions. Do makes negatives. Do makes question tags. Is that everything the auxiliary does?
Not even close. There is one more function, and it is the one almost nobody teaches at this level.
Which one?
Emphatic do. When do, does, or did is added to a positive sentence and stressed, it contradicts a doubt. It insists on a truth. It pushes back.
Show me.
Someone says to you, you never clean the flat.
And you do clean it.
You say, I do clean it. I cleaned it yesterday.
The stress does the work.
All of it. Without the stress, I do clean it. That is almost neutral. Polite agreement at most. With the stress, I do clean it. That is a contradiction, a pushback, a correction.
Same words, completely different force.
Always. And the main verb, what happens to it?
Base form?
Base form. The golden rule holds even here. I do want to go, not I do wanted to go. She does like spinach, not she does likes spinach. He did study for the exam, not he did studied.
The auxiliary carries all the tense. The main verb just stays.
Exactly. The engine takes the load. The main verb rests.
More examples.
You don't need to apologize. I do need to. It was my fault.
He doesn't care about anyone. He does care. He just doesn't show it easily.
I didn't send the email. I did send it. Check your spam folder.
They didn't call. They did call. You must have missed it.
Every single one. A contradiction, a pushback, an insistence that something is true despite what someone believes.
And learners are not using this.
Almost never, because nobody taught them it existed. And so every time someone doubts them or accuses them of something, they have no way to push back naturally in English.
But now they do.
Now they do.
I walked into that one.
You really did. And notice that right there, now they do, that is the emphatic do landing naturally in conversation. No announcement, no grammar label, just the engine at full power.
Once you know it is there, you will hear it everywhere.
Everywhere. And once it is inside you, it will just come.
So the emphatic do pushes back, insists, contradicts. What else can the auxiliary do?
It can replace an entire verb phrase to avoid repeating yourself.
Like a pronoun replaces a noun.
Exactly like that. Instead of repeating the verb, do steps in and carries the meaning. Clean, simple, no repetition.
Show me.
Did you call her?
Yes, I did.
Did replacing called her. The whole phrase, gone. One word does the job.
Who opened the door?
I did. Did replacing opened the door. 3 words become one.
He called.
Did he? Expressing surprise. Did replacing he called. The engine steps in, the meaning is carried. Nothing is repeated.
And the so do I pattern.
One of the most natural response patterns in spoken English, and most learners either avoid it or get it wrong.
I love pasta.
So do I. Do replacing love pasta. The engine substitutes for the whole phrase.
I don't like mushrooms.
Neither do I, the negative version. Do, same job, no repetition.
I went to Paris last year.
So did I. Did replacing went to Paris last year. Past tense, did steps in.
They didn't come.
Neither did we. Didn't come replaced by did. Clean, natural, nothing repeated.
And in comparisons?
She sings better than he does. Does replacing sings. I know it better than you do. You look better today than you did yesterday. The engine steps in, the verb phrase disappears, the sentence stays clean.
Now, do so. Is that different?
Same idea, more formal, more common in writing than in speech. She asked him to call and he did so immediately.
He did so instead of he did.
In writing, do so sounds polished and precise. In conversation, just did is more natural. She asked him to send the report and he did so within the hour. Formal, clean. But in a casual conversation, and he did is all you need.
Do so for writing, do for speaking.
And both replacing the same thing, the whole verb phrase. No repetition, the engine doing the job alone.
So we have do, does, did. 3 forms, 2 identities, powering sentences all day long. Now, the 4th one.
Done. And this one plays by different rules.
How so?
Done is the past participle of do, and past participles never work alone. They always need a helper in front of them.
Which helper?
Have, has, had. I have done my homework.
She has done a lot of work today. Have you done the dishes? I had done everything before she arrived.
Done always needs have or has or had.
Always. And this is the error we see most often with done.
Which error?
Done used alone as a past tense verb. I done my homework last night.
That sounds familiar, actually.
Very common, especially in informal speech, but it is not standard English. The correct versions, I did my homework last night, or I have done my homework. Did for the simple past, done only with have or has or had.
Done needs a helper, always.
Always. Now, done also works as an adjective, meaning finished, completed.
Is your homework done?
The project is finally done. Are you done? That is done then.
Are you done? That is very American English.
Very. In British English, are you finished is more natural. Both are completely correct, just regional. And done also carries another meaning in natural conversation.
Which one?
Fed up, exhausted, had enough. I am done with his excuses. After 12 hours, she was completely done. I am done with this situation. It is over.
High frequency and very expressive.
Very. Now, the most important and most surprising use of done.
Which one?
Have something done. Get something done. The causative structure.
What does causative mean?
It means someone else did it for you. You arranged it. You did not do it yourself.
Show me.
I had my car washed.
Someone else washed it. You arranged it.
I did not wash it myself. I had it done. She had her hair cut. The hairdresser did it. We are having the house painted. The painters are doing it.
And get something done.
More informal, more conversational. I got my car fixed. I must get my hair cut. Get it done by Friday.
Have versus get. What is the difference?
Have, slightly more formal or neutral. Get, more casual, more conversational. Both mean the same thing. Someone else performed the action on your behalf.
And done expressions. Are there fixed ones worth knowing?
Several. Well done. Praise for something achieved. Or food cooked thoroughly, not rare. Well done on the presentation. How would you like your steak? Well done, please. Same words, very different dinner. Done deal. An agreement that is final, settled, not open for discussion.
What's done is done.
You cannot change the past. Accept it and move forward. Shakespeare, actually. Macbeth.
And easier said than done.
Sounds simple, is not. One of the most used expressions in English. And every single one built on done. The fourth form, the past participle, the one that always needs a helper, or stands alone as an adjective, or sits inside a causative, or carries the weight of a whole expression.
Done is doing a lot of work for one word.
It really is done a lot of work.
Did you just...
I did, and I do not regret it.
So done has done a lot of work.
It has. Now the mistakes, the exact sentences that go wrong most often.
And we have already solved 2 of them during the episode.
We have 4 mistakes, fast and clean.
Starting with the first, and the most common error globally.
Did you went to the party?
Did you went?
The golden rule. Did powers the sentence. The main verb returns to base form. Go, not went. Did you go to the party? Always base form after the auxiliary. Every single time.
And the same rule in negatives.
She didn't called me. Wrong. She didn't call me. Correct. I did studied. Wrong. I did study. Correct. Did, didn't, base form after. No exceptions. Ever.
Mistake number 2.
She do her homework. He don't like it.
Missing does for third person.
He and she and it always does, always doesn't, never do, never don't. She does her homework. He doesn't like it. Every single time.
Mistake number 3.
Do you can swim? Did she must go?
Do with a modal verb.
Do as auxiliary never appears beside another modal. Can you swim, not do you can swim. Did she have to go, not did she must go. Modals make their own questions. Do stays out completely.
And mistake number 4, the one we solved earlier.
I done my homework last night.
Done as a standalone past tense verb.
Done needs have or has or had. Alone, it is not a past tense verb. I did my homework last night. Or, I have done my homework. Did for the simple past. Done only with a helper.
4 mistakes, 4 fixes.
After did or didn't, always base form. No exceptions.
He and she and it always does, always doesn't. Never do, never don't.
Do never appears with a modal verb. Modals work alone.
Done needs have or has or had, never alone as a past tense verb.
4 mistakes, and every single one completely fixable. Now, let us hear everything working together in a real conversation.
Role-play time.
The scenario: Monday morning at the office. Mike has a big week ahead. A project deadline on Friday, a car that needs fixing, and a difficult conversation with his manager he has been putting off. I am going to check in with him.
Let us go.
Morning, Mike. How are you feeling about this week?
Honestly, I have so much to do. I didn't finish the report on Friday, so I need to get that done today.
Did you manage to do anything over the weekend at least?
I did, actually. I did the shopping, did a bit of cleaning, tried to rest, but I kept thinking about work.
I know that feeling. Does your manager know the report isn't ready yet?
She asked where the report was this morning. I told her I was finishing it today.
And did she seem okay with that?
I think so. She did say she needed it by end of day, so there's no room to be late.
She did say, okay. No excuses then. What about your car?
I need to get it fixed this week. I've been putting it off for ages.
Where are you going to get it done?
There's a garage near the office. I might have it done there on Thursday.
Good idea. And that conversation with your manager, the difficult one, have you done anything about that yet?
Not yet, but I do want to sort it out this week. I really do.
I know you do. You always do your best, even when things are hard.
Did you just give me a pep talk?
I did, and I don't regret it. Right, let us pause there.
Did you notice how many times do, does, did, done came up in that conversation?
Let us pick out a few. You said I didn't finish the report.
Auxiliary didn't, powering the negative. Finish, base form, the golden rule holding.
And she did say she needed it by end of day.
Emphatic did, stressing that she actually said it, contradicting any doubt. The engine at full power.
And I need to get it fixed this week.
Get something done, the causative. Someone else is fixing the car. He is arranging it.
And I have been putting it off. So, have you done anything about that yet?
Done with have, past participle. The helper doing its job. Done, never alone.
And I do want to sort it out. I really do.
Emphatic do, insisting it is true. And then, I really do, the substitute do stepping in, replacing want to sort it out. No repetition.
And none of that felt like grammar.
It felt like a Monday morning conversation, which is exactly what it was.
Because that is what happens when these forms are inside you. You stop choosing them. They just come. And that is exactly what we want for you. Do, does, did, done, not as rules you remember, as words that just come.
So let us lock it all in, fast.
Do as main verb. Tasks, activities, everyday actions. Do the dishes, do your best, do research, do something, anything, nothing, everything. Always do.
Do versus make. Task and process is do. Result and creation is make. I did a mistake, wrong. I made a mistake, right. For the full picture, Episode 3, link in the description.
Do, does, did as auxiliary, always base form for the main verb after. Always. Did you go? Not did you went. She doesn't like, not she doesn't likes. The golden rule. No exceptions.
Do never appears with a modal verb. Can you swim? Not do you can swim. And never with to be. Are you tired? Not do you be tired.
In indirect questions, do disappears entirely. She asked if I liked coffee, not if I do like coffee. Word order flips back to normal. Tense steps back one step.
Question tags. Positive statement, negative tag. Negative statement, positive tag. She likes it, doesn't she? They didn't come, did they? Do for present, did for past.
Emphatic do. I do want to. He does care. I did send it. Stressed, contradicting doubt, insisting on truth. The engine at full power.
Substitute do. So do I. Neither did I. Yes, I did. She sings better than he does. The engine replacing the whole verb phrase. And do so, the formal written version.
Done. Always needs have or has or had in perfect tenses, never alone as a past tense verb. As an adjective, are you done? In the causative, I had it done, I got it fixed, someone else did it for you.
And the done expressions. Well done. Done deal. What's done is done. Easier said than done.
2 identities, 5 forms, 1 golden rule.
Now, your challenge.
Think about something someone has doubted about you recently, something they assumed was not true, and push back with emphatic do. I do study. I did call. She does care. I do try my best. One sentence, your real life, your real pushback.
Write it in the comments. We read every single one.
And if this episode helped you, please share it with one person who is learning English right now. Every share means another learner finds us.
And if you are not subscribed to Say It yet, please subscribe so you never miss a new episode. We put everything into every single one.
We will see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.